Welcome to my Love Island Season 7, Episode 3 recap and review. Sorry, guys, I know I'm running late. It's been a day. So, Monday, between Sunday and Monday, somebody decided to run into my car and ripped off my driver's side mirror and my fender.
It was parked, or
It was
you
parked.
were.
It was parked. So I had to take it to the mechanic this morning, and now I am down a car. And then my kids came home early today because my husband and I trade back and forth custody, but he's going out of town. So um, I had to like coordinate some stuff because I'm down a car. So
Right.
thankfully, tomorrow is Eid. Happy and blessed Eid to all those who'll be celebrating, but my boys don't have school.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, but my oldest son has a trip to a music park and he will be back at 2 a.m. So I need a car because somebody has to be there to pick him up. So thankfully, my daughter will be loaning me her car, but had to coordinate all this stuff. So I kept getting interrupted watching the show and taking notes.
Okay.
So I
I'm
apologize
glad
for
it's
you.
gonna work out, though. I'm glad it's working out. It's working out.
Yeah, that's what Danita had told me. She was like,
Everything
"You
is working
always
out
figure
for
it
me.
out."
Everything
Exactly.
is working out for me.
You always
Everything.
figure it out. You'll figure it out. I'm like, I know, I will. So, I don't know how I'm paying for it because obviously the person did not leave their name or number or insurance card. So, but we figure it out. But thank you guys for joining. And so let's see who's here. King Cooper. Hi, King.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm so glad you could catch us live as well. KB
Yes.
is here. Welcome
Hi, baby.
back. And Jessica is here. So
Hey,
yes, Taylor's here too.
Kay.
Mary
Oh,
was
wait, Big
here
Taylor in a minute.
and
Hey,
Danita.
Mary. Hey, Zanita.
All right. So um this episode, what a like we were right about a lot of stuff. We were right. We were right. KJ is here. Jaquan is here. Tasha is here. Welcome.
Hey.
And so I was like, listen, we've been saying, and I've been saying this. I literally turned my tassel from being a Serena defender. If you watch my coverage last season, you know that I was the only Serena defender on these YouTube, TikTok streets, Twitter streets, especially as recappers go, to a Olandria defender. Because people went crazy last night, and I said that they would. I said they're going to say she is jealous. I don't think she cares that much. And literally, what did I wake up to was drama. Scroll TikTok, all these takes that are crazy. I will say this: my For You page, I had a lot of good takes, and shout out to Maddox because listen, she saw one of the TikToks and she commented. She was like, "I guess I'm in enemy territory because I don't agree." Basically, yeah. Hi, Mary. I'm good.
She said she guess she's in enemy territory because she doesn't what?
So the TikTok was against Olandria, was for Huda in this case, and she's like, "Oh, I guess I'm in enemy territory."
Mm. I mean, y'all did all of that only to get to the episode. It's not that deep and it's over. So what are y'all gonna say now? That y'all did all of that?
How familiar does that sound? How familiar does it sound? Last year, every single episode, there was a cliffhanger, mostly dealing with Miss Serena Page.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, she's going to do this and she's going to do that. And I was like, I don't think she's going to do any of that. Endgate. Remember Endgate?
Yeah.
And squashed within 24 hours. So.
Yep.
This is what we're dealing with. It's all good. We've been here. But yeah, no, like I need people to slow their roll. Everybody's watching the show now. Everybody has something to say. It's crazy. I love it,
Right.
but it's crazy. So yeah. Daquan asks how I don't know how to feel about Ace. We'll talk about Ace. I will say Taylor and Ace, and then Nick would probably be my top three on the show,
Yeah, me
boy
too.
wise,
Me too. Me too.
and in that order. But we would chat about him. King says people were making their fingers bleed with writing think
Right.
he's and they spoke the 5 minutes, which I told them was gonna happen.
Right.
We knew they were. We talked about it last night. We literally all were in here saying that it's not. It's gonna
It's
be
not that
fine.
it's gonna
Squash
be.
immediately. Twitter learned nothing. Twitter learned nothing from last year. Like that's the crazy part. KB says, I can't wait to hear the take on the Huda reveal. I feel for her, but at the same time, this is why we don't waste time with not disclose it. Let people filter themselves out, in my opinion. We'll talk about it, but I feel like Shelly gave her the most amazing advice. I swear. And we're going to go through it. The other reason why I'm late is because I tried to take detailed notes because we got some really good conversations.
You take detailed notes.
Yeah, we got really I'm not reacting. I'm not reenacting anything this
Girl, last season you used to do the whole thing.
I used to reenact the entire scene, but not so far not yet. Until let it get good, and then I'll have something to react. Glad they made up, but Huda's reaction was uncalled for. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're about to talk about that. Ooh, I was like, girl, what's this? Obviously me is here. Obviously me says, man, Charlie broke out the Greek for Bella, but it was crickets with Charlie. Exactly. Charlie even admitted that he actually wanted to bring Bella to the hideaway. Make it make sense. Listen, Charlie's problem, like I said last night, was that he put his eggs into one basket. And I think he thought the Shelly basket was the easy basket, and that wasn't the easy basket.
No, and he also is an F boy, and we found that out. He just was trying to act all smooth and thought because he was from the UK and had a little accent that nobody was gonna figure it out.
Yeah, but I mean, most of those UK men have those high body counts. So I wasn't surprised. I don't know why that is, but I think Chantel once explained it, and I was just like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Jessica says, and when will these people learn? Most of the stuff is not that deep. Just let it play out. And it's like, my whole thing is just make your statement, but it's like, we're going to vote her out. We're going to do, and I said, listen, don't play with me. I did this with Serena. Right. You were voting my girl out. So, yeah. Yes, we knew Charlie is a scammer, period.
Yeah, we did.
Shaw is here. Hey, y'all, good episode. I actually enjoyed it more than episode 2. I will say I enjoyed it more than episode 2 as well, because we got a lot of juicy conversations. And yeah, we're going to talk about that game and whoo, child. Obviously, me says, man, Belgian waffles, Nick pissed me off this episode. I still love it, but I'm going to need him to stay in business and close things off with Bella instead of trying to have his cake.
I agree.
You mean close things off to Bella? Like,
yeah, I think that's what they mean. Like, don't play with her. Don't keep telling her I still want to, because she a little fragile. She a little fragile.
So Rachel is here. Hi, Rachel. Rachel says, do you think a vote is coming soon? I think we could vote as early as tomorrow.
Tomorrow. I agree.
And that's because then they'll have a dumping, but it will depend on if a recoupling is tomorrow. So we're going to go through it, but I have a thought that there'll be a recoupling tomorrow. We'll go through what we think our potential couples will be, and then we'll probably end up voting Friday with the results, obviously Saturday, Sunday or Monday. So yeah. King says, I think the bombshells are going to make or break this season because the girls need new men. I do agree that
Immediately they need new men. Immediately.
I agree that the bombshells this season are probably going to be more impactful. But I mean, I think they were more impactful last year as well. Some of them didn't stay, but at the end of the day, we ended up with two OGs and two bombs in the end, and then we had three OG girls and one bomb for the girls. So I think we might end up having that if the people I feel like I'm looking for to find love, because I said yesterday I'm missing those sparks. I'm missing sparks, and the only sparks I'm seeing is with one to two couples. One, I wasn't sure how they were gonna get through this episode. I was kind of happy with how they did. And then another couple, I was like, they're not even together. I don't know what the potential is. Is he even playing around with her? They have the most insane chemistry. I don't know what their long-term prognosis is. We can discuss it. But it is so wild how much chemistry those two have together.
They do. They do have a lot of chemistry. They do.
Yeah. Yeah, oh my gosh, Ace Clock and Jeremiah had me cracking up too.
Thank you. He can see right through him. And Jeremiah doesn't like it. He can see right through him though.
Yes. And I said today, I have a thought on what Jeremiah's game plan is. But I'm wondering if Huda's news tonight is going to screw up his game plan. How will he move? Because if his game plan is what I think it is, she just threw a wrench in the wheel. And we can discuss that in the end as well. So Jessica says that I still think Shelly probably needs another person for the long haul, but I'm sorry. Anytime Ace and Shelly talk, I'm cheesing. They both know how to. It's just so natural. Yeah. Ace and Shelly is so cute, says Rachel, and Jamie is saying, "Yeah, that was so peak." Like I don't know. Obviously, me says Ace is very much a producer plant with these comments. I think he kind of is, which is why somebody was like, "Oh, Ace could go," and I'm just like, go where? He's the Rob and the Kendall, where we're probably not going to be there. We could try to vote him out, but I doubt they're going to want to. They need him. They need him to prod people. They needed. You see, he's not coupled up, and he's the most vocal person in there, and that's why Shelly was like, "Oh, you're an introvert." He's like, "I mean, an extrovert," and he's like, "No, I'm not really." And I can actually see that. We even see that with Leah, right? Like she's in Leo and she's very introverted, but when she's around people, she pulls that energy and she gets extroverted. And I think
I could tell she was an introvert though. I could always tell she was an introvert. I thought he's an extroverted introvert, I guess. An extroverted introvert. So I get it.
Listen, I'm starting to call Ace. KB says Ace, I think, really enjoys pushing Jeremiah's buttons.
Yes, he does.
It's clear those two have hate. I actually think the opposite. I think that he is that little brother that like annoys the shit out you. Even you know how sometimes little brothers try to steal your girl, all that stuff. I'm calling him Dennis the Menace.
No. He sees it for Jeremiah. No, this is not an annoying little brother. He sees him and he wants to get under his skin.
I was gonna say that was what I was saying this morning, but when I watched this and saw him clocking the teeth, I was like, "Oh no!"
All Taylor does is It's like you don't see that. He's like,
I was like, "Oh no!" What it is that he sees through Jeremiah's bullshit, not Huda's. He sees through Jeremiah's bullshit. Now, everybody else thinks he wants to steal Huda from him, and I think that's also possible, but he sees through his bullshit.
Yes, absolutely. And I also feel like he's like, I think today Huda also thought to herself, "Wait a minute, is
Yeah.
he love bombing me?" This was the first time she had an aha moment herself. Like, wait a minute.
I think she sometimes is so trying to convince herself that he's the perfect guy so that she can tell him this information. And then
Right.
I think Shelly made her realize you if he's the right person, he will take the information however you give it to him. and
However,
and then so I think she then could let down that wall of perfection that we saw even last night, where she's like, oh, brownie points to you, look at you, look at what you did. And I said today on Twitter, listen, I don't think that Huda was like necessary being mean spirited or a mean girl when she did what she did last night. I said that. I just think that she wasn't reading the room, that by doing things the way that she was doing them, it was hyping it up. Now, I'm going to give her this. Maybe she's one of those people where when it is quiet, because we know we get music when they're doing those things, they don't have
right,
music.
right.
So maybe when it's quiet, that tense, quiet air makes her uncomfortable, and she didn't know anything else but to just keep spouting. Because the first comment when she's like, "Y'all just a bunch of bad kids," I was laughing,
Yeah,
but then when she kept going, I was like, "Oh, okay, now we're especially." I agreed with Olandria. It's like, okay, keep it, because I don't think Olandria wanted to embarrass Taylor. And we find out today that's what it was. Like she didn't want the guys to get blown up on. Like she didn't want the guys to think this was like a Casa Amor moment where somebody was going to keep coming after them. And I feel
hmm.
like that was fair. Hi, boss queen.
Hi.
So what I think also muddied the waters for many of us was her hyping up the man and then hyping up the girls, but also downing on the men. And so at the beginning of this episode, Ace makes a statement that I had to agree with. He basically says, listen, you guys are making this situation very difficult for us who are still open, who are still exploring, because it is only day 3.
Right.
And he's like, I don't feel like Huda was fair. First of all, she's not approachable. So it's kind of what people were saying about Andrea last season with the Rob
Right.
situation.
Right.
And
Right.
then
Right.
kept going about Leah not talking to Connor and blah blah blah. It's like, stay in your own lane, right? You can have whatever opinion you want to, but at the end of the day, we're all here to figure it out. And you took Leah's man, so what do you want for her? She's going to move however she needs to move. You
Exactly.
also was trying to kick out Janae, so it's like Leah needed to not explore. She needed to just stay with Connor, but Janae had to be kicked out because she wasn't allowed to explore. It's like that kind of it felt like that kind of situation where your opinion just felt like you were coming from your own place, right? But it is very, very, very into Jeremiah, very focused on him, and she felt like that's where everybody else should be, and it is making it difficult for the other people to move in this villa.
Right. Absolutely.
And so he does say to him, he's like, because Jeremiah said, no, but that's fine if she's not approachable. And then he said, well, that's not fair to everybody else who are actively also trying to explore, not able to explore with her. And then you're sitting there going and acting up at the fire pit when we all make decisions that we needed to make for ourselves, where none of us are closed off.
Right. Absolutely.
And Jeremiah, what? Had nothing to give him back. He had no choice but to agree with him because he was right. That's
Yeah.
what it came out as.
Yeah. He understood then. He understood then. Yeah.
So, but we start the episode. The still ends, and the girls walk away, and the girls and the boys split up. CKB says it like, sorry, Ace was right. He was.
Yeah.
He really, really was. It was a good synopsis, and he said it in a way that I think that's why Jeremiah couldn't even get mad at him. It wasn't nasty. It was truthful. Nick is upset because he had to burn his connection with Bella for Sierra, but he felt like they weren't growing and his gut was telling him to go for chemistry. And I said today, I feel like, and I don't know if I said it last night, Nick just did not feel that Bella liked him.
Yeah, you said it last night. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He did.
Mm-hmm. And that at this point, at least you should like me.
Right.
And I said last
night, I should be able to feel that you like me, like in some way, shape, or form.
I said last night, every man that stood up for a reason. Nick didn't feel Bella liked him. Austin just was so sure that Shelly was going to stand up, and I was correct. We were correct about that. And that Taylor was stewing and realized, you know what? I can't just be here with just her because she's exploring. So what about me? And he said, not because I think he wanted that girl.
He didn't want that girl. That was the whole thing. And like she said, you could have sat down and stayed still and still been able to explore with her. Because what you were saying was you wanted to couple up with her, not explore. I stayed seated because it would take somebody really, really awesome to turn my head. Because I might want to explore, but I want to be coupled up with you. And that's what it is. Like.
Okay. Yeah. And that's what it is, because again, a lot of times the guys don't understand the difference between exploring a connection and coupling up with someone.
That's why all them guys brought back somebody from Casa More. They don't get it. They don't get it.
And Jessica points out something really good here. The only thing the guys owe the girls honesty about how open they are, and Huda does not know all of these conversations these couples are having, so she needed to pipe down in a moment. Period.
Exactly.
Period. And so Taylor says he feels weird. He feels that Olandria was possibly upset, and he points out to the fact that she did like move her seat. And so Jeremiah's like, wait, so she could kiss somebody, but you can't go and explore somebody. So again, they're saying explore. They're not realizing when you're standing up, you're throwing your couple away, which is what we said why Shelly was smart not to stand up.
Because what she told Austin was, I said that I wanted to explore things with both of you all. If I was to get up and couple up with him, that would be saying that now I like him more than you and I want to be with him in the couple. I haven't made up my mind, so I just stay put. They don't get it. They don't get it.
No. I just feel like men come on the show and they don't have a lot of men. We know that Olandria has watched this show. Just like last season, Serena, Janae, Leah watched the show, but the men, I think other than Kendall and maybe a little bit of Kenny, because they applied for prior seasons, have not watched the show.
And when Jeremiah don't watch the show.
Right. He follows the PPG the PPGM apparently. So yeah. So when you have those situations where you're coming into this experience and you don't understand what everything means when you make a decision, this is what you get. This is what you get. So I think that I think that he didn't realize you basically stood up to throw me away is what Olandria was trying to say.
He didn't get it. And I think that she was very mature in apologizing to him, because I don't know that I would have apologized to him in that moment.
Oh, I was surprised she apologized to him, because I was going to say I wasn't sure she would. But again, I don't think we saw the entire full conversation, because it made it seem as if he explained things to her in a deeper way that maybe we didn't hear, because she's like, okay, I see. It's not as cut and dry as I was thinking. And I see now your side of it and why you did what. So I think that piece might have been cut out of their conversation.
I hope so because he did not do enough explaining to me. Because I was
No,
like,
that's what I'm saying. And so when she was sitting there, like, I apologize, and I now see both sides of it. I said, wait, what? What else happened?
right. Because I was like, she a better one than me. So I wouldn't have been apologizing.
Yeah. Let's get into the Olandria and Bella conversation.
Okay.
Um, Olandria and Bella are talking, and Bella feels vulnerable. She's shocked. She said he told her he liked her, but that he told her he liked Sierra, but that he was still into her, and she was shocked that he then just switched. So it's this thing of the switch. They feel like what happened, and it's because these men weren't saying certain things to them. In
Right.
Nick's case, he didn't tell her that he really was 51-49. He
Right.
was
He
telling
said
her
50.
50-50, and we know that he was really 49-51 on Sierra's side. So he was always
They
going to.
always communicate more with the boys than with the person they're with. They always do that.
Yep,
And it's stupid.
it is. Because that's the person you coupled up with. TJ says, Bella is growing on me. Okay, because I mean, I
Because she's
like her.
becoming more vulnerable. She grew on me today too. She grew on me
Yeah,
today.
but
We
I
wanted to
just,
see some feeling. We wanted to
I
see some
still say, I
feeling
think
and
she's
some
a little more
vulnerability.
open and honest. I feel today, but that is also why she lost Nick. I think she just wasn't open enough for him, and he
Right.
didn't see if that she could ever get there.
Yeah.
Um,
And I
so
actually think that he was going to try to close things off with her. But when he had that conversation with her, I think he saw a little vulnerability and he was like, dang, like maybe there is something. Let me not close this off. Because I think he really does like his chemistry with Sierra. He really does vibe with her. But I think when he saw that little bit of vulnerability, he thought to himself, oh, I can't just cut that off just yet. Let me, it might just be something there because that's what he been wanting from her the whole time. So yeah.
yep. So then they look over and Huda's crying. And Alandra's like, oh, she's crying. And Bella's like, oh, is she? And then she looks over and she's like, and Alandra's like, I wonder why. And Bella gets up and she's like, well, I hope it's not because of what I said to her, says Alandria. And then we hear from Huda to Chelsea, to Shelly, it's because of Alandria. That why did she yell at me like that? I thought that she could talk to me afterwards, and I was just like, how?
And she did not yell. She did not yell. Like people don't know what yelling is. She did not yell.
She
Ugh.
her tone
Words
was
matter. Words matter so much. And I don't like when people just use buzzwords and they're not really thinking about what they're saying because that's attached to my character, that's attached to my actions. Like be sure about what you're saying about me. Like you know what I mean? Like no one yelled. Yes,
no
it might have been
yes.
curt and you might have felt it was sharp and curt,
Yeah.
but it was not yelling.
Yeah, it was not yelling. And even people online were like, she yelled at her. It's like, when? Oh, she was so rude to her. I said, when she said, thank you. I see that you're being supportive,
But
but
these same people voted for that man who don't get me started, who is in office, who is a rude individual like every single day of the year. And they pacify it, act like it's nothing. And then somebody says like one thing, oh, it's so rude. What are you talking about?
it was so odd to me. And then just the way that she was just insisting that she could pull her and tell her after to, oh, we'll talk about it afterwards. There was no point where she would be able to do that because you wouldn't stop.
Right. You just kept saying stuff. And I didn't even think it was a big deal to talk about anything. I'm
Yeah.
just telling you right now, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I believe in that method. Like, you know what I mean? Like the 2 minute method. Like even when you're a supervisor or whatever, like if somebody does something, you correct it right then and it's over. You correct it right then, it's over. It's not gonna go on. There's no need to make a paper trail. I tell you right then, it's over. I go back to doing what I'm doing. You go back to doing what you're doing. A toddler, they do something, you right then, boom, it's over. It. We didn't need to be talking about it because I'm just telling you pipe down and that's it. It's over. Like
Yeah.
it's nothing to talk about.
Jessica says Shelly knew that Huda was doing too much, but she just told her to bring it in to diffuse it. And also Huda did something in front of the group, so Olandria can't respond in public. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
TJ is on my point. Olandria didn't owe Huda an apology at all.
No.
And Kay said if Alondra actually yelled, the internet they would have broke.
Exactly. Exactly.
Broke. Oh my God. So, yeah, Shelly is like, wait. No. Poor Shelly.
Shelly's trying to be the peacekeeper. Like, no. She didn't mean it like that.
I
No.
don't think she meant it like that. No. Because it's like you're trying to protect your girl, but also your other girl is there and tears. Okay, just, and it's like, but Shelly also had said something. She's like, it's just a game. She had
Right.
said something during the thing, so it wasn't just Olandria, but it was because she wouldn't stop going. Oh my God. I was like, no. So she does console her. She's like, but I didn't mean any harm. I would never do that to somebody. It was so rude. I said, you were being rude.
Right.
You were
Exactly.
being rude to the guys. And I get it that she says, well, I don't know the bombshells and I don't know the guys that well. And that's what the guys keep saying.
Right. She like, I don't really know the bombshells and I barely know the girls that well other than y'all and I don't know the guys at all. And so I was just trying to be a supportive friend. Girl, I get it. I get it. Like, okay, love you, bye. Like, I get it. Like, you're supportive.
Is saying she is not open and receptive to getting to know the guys in any sort of manner. And so
right.
what do you expect? Of course you have no respect for their decisions, no understanding or knowledge of their decisions because you don't know these men and you're not trying to get to know them in any form or fashion.
Right. And
That's
she
your
also
fault.
watched the show and she also wants them to be PPG point 2.0 and they could possibly get there. They really could, but I just met you. You don't even know me. See, you haven't learned me. By the time they were doing all of that and Casa more, they knew each other. They had confided in each other, had talks. Serena knows how to move. Leah knows what to say, not to say too much. Janae knows, like you haven't. It's just been 3 days. Just calm down. You don't know nobody. Like you
You
just
don't
admitted, you
know
don't know
nobody.
nobody. So just keep your
You
cards
just know
to
how you
yourself.
feel about somebody, right? And that's valid, but also you don't know people.
Right, you don't know.
Maureen is here. Maureen, welcome. Maureen says, I hope someone great comes in for Shelly because the men there right now are not it, and that includes Ace. Ace is going to go
Yeah,
crazy in Casa. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. And then he
yeah.
gonna try to crash out about Shelly when she finds somebody after he been doing all this. He gonna try to be over there looking like.
He is saying I do something I do agree with. I personally think it was a big misunderstanding. I don't think Huda thought she was standing up for her friend. I personally think that she was standing up for her friends, but it came off as more patronizing, and it did
Yes,
because she centered
absolutely.
it around the man. And Katie says I can't because I said uh
She's
I
a
can't.
hardcore cancer because usually cancers are get with the tears, but KB be hardcore with hers. She still got that crab shell on, and
Yeah,
be like,
no,
I can't
no,
with the
this
tears.
is like, throw it all away. I said today, listen, I think she did think that she was being a girl's girl.
Yeah,
Um, but at the end of the day, you don't be a girl's girl by saying, well, my man never would have
Right.
done that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You
Exactly.
don't throw in your girl's face what you're getting at home in order to either make them feel better about themselves or to hype them up that they deserve better. That's not
Yeah.
being a girl's girl.
She was
Uh,
being a girl's girl when she talked to Bella and she told her, "You it. You it. You that girl. That's a girl's girl. That's how you be a girl's girl. Hype her up. Hype her up. Like,
right.
be supportive and let her know. Like, that's like you a baddie. Like, that's being a girl's girl. Not what you were doing. Just
Not
calm
what
down."
you, and that was the issue. And she doesn't really give girls girl to me. I feel like, and not, she doesn't give me pick me either, to be fair. I think she's a bit of a bird. She doesn't give me, right, like she just,
What?
I feel like she's a little more male centered, that she thinks like that that's what maybe a value. If you don't have the right man, you're maybe a lot more devalued. And so
Oh,
because men didn't do right, but her man did right. But I don't think that that's at the moment what she was trying to portray. It just came off of that as that because I don't think she knows any better.
right. Yeah, she's young.
So yeah, it was just poor Shelly because she's like directly in the middle. And Bella does also like try to tell Ola, well, I think it came across like you're doing too much. I said, yes, yes. And Ola's like, oh, that's not what I was trying to do. I said, but that's what you did because that's what was necessary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm.
Bella said, well, it was the tone of your voice. And it's the tone, but she wasn't yelling. It was
Yeah,
not the loudness or the boisterousness. It was her tone. It was cutting. It was stern, but it was deserved.
yeah,
So Olandria said, well, the first set of tears in the villa is because of me.
yeah.
And she's like, I meant it to save it for a chat later for because this was gonna be a good spill the tea session between all of us. And I said, yes, because that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, none of them wanted to put their feelings out right there because they didn't know how they were feeling. Bella didn't know how she was feeling. Shelly didn't know how she was feeling, and Olandria didn't know how they was feeling because all three of them got blindsided.
Right, absolutely.
And so she said, I don't want people to think I'm a mean girl. Too late, girl. That you know that was always going to happen. You're black. Um, so Austin tells Charlie that he's shocked. He really thought that Shelly would stand up for him. And I was like, oh, I know you did. I know you did. But that's why I said, at least let the bitch flinch. He didn't even let her flinch. And then there's a video of him using her knee to get up. What the hell is wrong with you, Austin?
Girl, we know what's wrong with him. He around here sending thousands of nudes. He's an F boy. And we all knew he was pretending. We all knew he was pretending. He's just trying to stay on the show. We all knew he was pretending, but woo, that
Austin says
game.
he
Yeah.
wanted
Let's
to
get to
sit
the
back
game.
down, but it got him out of his comfort zone. I was like, it's also probably about to get your ass kicked out of the villa. But okay. It peeled back a layer. I said, you are not Rob. And he didn't want to be stuck in a rut. I'm like, please go out of my villa.
Right. Right.
Charlie says he's surprised Shelly didn't stand up for him. He's sad because none of the girls stood up for him, and he only really wanted Shelly because that was the person he had had the most conversations with.
Mm-hmm.
King Cooper says, using the knee set me. If I was Shelly the way, I would have dropped that knee.
Don't use me to get up to go and stand over there for another woman. Sir,
But
you
he
lost
should
your
have said that she's shocked because she's like, I looked at her, I was like, what?
Shelly said she would have lost her money. Shelly said she would have lost her money. Cause ain't no way she thought that man was gonna do that. She would have lost her money. I wouldn't have lost mine because I knew he was gonna do it. But she said she would have lost her money.
Charlie says he wants to find someone. I'm like, great. Do it outside the villa. Nick and Sierra chat. And he says he had a great time with her. And he's still a little bit scrambled with Bella, but his time with Sierra in the hideaway was too good for him not to take the leap. And they both are excited to sleep together, and they continue to explore this connection. Now, what do we feel so far about Nick and Sierra?
At that point, I was like, okay, we'll see where it goes. But later on in the episode, I was like, oh, yeah, they're really connecting and vibing.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's rightfully, because I think it just got abruptly cut off, but I also think he made the right decision, personally.
Yes.
I don't think he would have gotten any emotion out of Bella until he did this. And I also think it was right for him to choose somebody I feel like was giving him the energy he was looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. So Olandria Ola pulls Huda, and they hold hands in soul ties, and she says, I think I know why you're crying. I didn't think I would be the reason for your tears. And Olandria said she thought Huda would go in on them bad. And Huda said, oh no. And she's like, I was just like trying to support you guys. And Olandria said, with Shelly and I'm looking at each other like, oh, we about to have the juiciest chat later. And that's what I was trying to say, but I don't remember what came out of my mouth. But I guess it wasn't that. And I didn't realize I hurt your feelings, so I probably should have said it differently or nothing at all. And Huda said, well, I was just trying to stick up for you. And Andre says, you're my girl, and a girl's girl to your core, and I love that about you. And Huda says, I was trying to say, y'all are a bunch of grown-ass kids. And I said, you did say that. And that's where you should have left it. That was the perfect statement, and then it should have, nothing else should have kept going, in my opinion. Right. She had just left the one statement. That was the perfect statement to make. I don't know why she kept going. So, and Taylor starts walking up, we see, and she says, I love you. And she says, I love you back. And don't ever change. And I thought it was a good conversation. And 3M shows Olandria was mature and smart for this apology, but I didn't think she owed her an apology, and I agree.
I agree too. But I think she wanted to dead the issue because I think she knows how it can get and how it can come across. And she probably is like, obviously this girl is fragile. Let me just apologize to her.
And I think Bella being the person to be like, oh, it was kind of like a little bit of a cutting tone was what made her think about it more like, oh, well, maybe I did too much. I didn't mean that. So she apologized. Again, I don't think she wants to mess up the vibe and the chemistry of the girls in the they've already said that this is like, we're not going to allow these boys to mess us up. And so I think that's what she was standing on.
Absolutely. And like my dad always says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Right.
And so she wants to be happy. She just wants a happy mood. And so you apologize and you move on.
And KB's right. She was a little sharp, but it was a nothing burger. It was nothing. And we see, because it was nothing, it got squashed very quickly. They both understand each other, and they both moved on. And Taylor walks up, and he basically takes Huda's place, and Taylor said, what's your thoughts?
He's always asking that. He always wants her to say her thoughts before he says anything. What you think?
Yes, he's picking her brain because again, so we've already talked about Nick's reasoning. Now on Taylor's reasoning, I think that he thought it was possible, and maybe it came from the boys, but also maybe it came from just her actions of hearing her just kissing Ace, that maybe she didn't like him as much as he maybe likes her. And I think he wanted to get a little get back. He's like, well, this doesn't matter. If I do this, it's still going to be us. Not realizing, no, what you did was different because it would not be still y'all.
Yes, and they don't realize every time you go to couple up with somebody else, if that happens, you make me vulnerable. And then
Yes,
what if all of a sudden they had a dumping and I go home? What would you have been thinking then? Like, be smart. They don't think. Men, those boys don't think. They don't think.
we don't think at all. Um, and so what you call it? Oh, okay. So this was a funny conversation. She says, I'm kind of scattered and a little torn. And Taylor said, well, I still, because I was interested in exploring, but I know we ain't really talked. And she's like, in her head, I know she was like, yeah, you didn't talk to that girl. And you also didn't talk to me because you talked
Right.
to her for all of 5 minutes. Why would that be something for you to get up for? And he's like, well, she's like, well, I was just confused at how the hell did that 5 minute conversation trump what we have. And I was like, please tell him that, because
And
I
like,
keep
no.
trying to say to people that she likes him, she's just scared. And people are like, she doesn't like him, he's too young for her, he doesn't have enough swag, he doesn't have this, he doesn't. I said,
She
I think
does like him, and she's told him. But this is also the thing. She is not Bella. She has told him that
yeah,
she likes him
yes, but
at
I think
least twice. She has now. This makes a third time. She had already
yeah,
told him twice before. This makes a third time. So you can't say like, "Oh, I didn't know she if she liked me or not." Or no, she's
yeah,
told you she likes you.
I think it was more of the ace kiss that
Yeah,
brought the drama here. Because I think if she hadn't kissed Ace, he wouldn't feel like, oh, she could leave me at any moment, right? And I think the more he thought of it, the more he stewed on it. He was like, he could leave me. She could leave me. I think I'm gonna just start exploring. But he's not realizing this is not exploring, right?
exactly.
This is not an exploration. This is a you like all out and out leaving her.
Right.
Um, and so that's kind of what she had to say to him. She's like, you stood up because you had an idea of exploring with someone, which you could have done if you stayed seated. You could have done that. And he tries to interrupt. She's like, no, I'm not done speaking. Just give me a second. She's like, that's why I was irritated about it. I get that we're open. I don't have a problem being open, and I don't have a problem with you going to explore, but and then he does interrupt. He says, but that wasn't my first intention, was to stand up. Like, I wasn't immediately ready to stand up. I thought about it, and she's like, no, you didn't hesitate. You read the text and you stood up. And he's like, no, no, no. And you know what? In his head, he might have been, when you're processing something as you're reading something, and in your head, you're thinking, oh, hesitate, but then you get to it and you do something. I think that's what he thought he did, but when he really just reacted.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure for her that was also a thing, because it's like, you just reacted. Like, you didn't even take a minute to think through whether this was the situation you wanted to leave. And again, I say, I just don't think he thought he was leaving their situation. I think he was making a declaration of, hey, I want to get to know Sierra. And that's not what that was. And so he says that, and she ITMs that if all the talks is for a girl to give you all it takes is for a girl to give you 5 to 10 minutes of chat, then to throw away everything that we've built so far, what was the point then? Do you really like me as much as you said you did? And Taylor says, but I also, and this is where I feel like they cut out a piece of the
But she
conversation.
said that in a confessional. She didn't say that to him.
No, she said it in ITM. That's what I'm saying. An ITM.
Oh,
And
yeah. Okay.
at camera moment, like a diary confession, right? And so I said, then we go to Taylor saying, but I also don't feel like you should be mad at me because I wasn't mad at you for the kiss. I said, I knew he was gonna use that. But I feel like the part that we missed is here, like chopped up the conversation, that piece, because the next thing she says out loud, I appreciate you coming up and explaining your side. It's more than one way to look at things. And I do appreciate that he came, because he seemed to basically right away came up to her and was like, let us get back onto one page, because I know she's probably like, what the hell happened? And because that's what he said, I realized we didn't talk about that, right? And like we said yesterday, it was all going to come down to respect anyway. And I think that the fact that they were able to mutually understand each other and respect each of their viewpoints on the situation and not be nasty about it, I think is a benefit to whatever relationship develops between these two individuals.
Yeah. But I knew when she said, yeah, I appreciate you coming up here and talking to me and giving me your side, because there's more than one way to look at that. I knew that meant I'm about to be cool on you. I'm about, like, she was thinking in her head, I'm going to say this nice because I don't want us to have it out. I don't want no bad blood. But in her mind, she was thinking, I'm about to be cool on him. And I think what did him some good is that she went to sleep and she thought about it and she processed it. Because at the moment she was thinking, I'm really about to be cool on you. Because that's how I do people. Like, yeah, there's no need to have bad words, because I made up my mind. I only argue with people I'm trying to persuade. Yeah, thanks for coming to tell me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's more than one way to look at that. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, talk to you later. And I'm thinking all along, yeah, I'm about to be real cool on you. So
yeah. Well, she ducks out of relationships very quickly now, and she also like she'll cut you off quickly because she's been single for so long. And to be fair, she's also a Gemini, and they get very cool on people very quickly. And so the same thing with him. He's also a Gemini, which is why I think they do understand each other. And I agree with you. I think that was the point. But she also did say later that she's like, I think that the guys are gonna be very like they what did I write it down that they were going to be shoot, that they were going to be not wishy-washy but like kind of uncomfortable with them the next morning. And I think the guys showing and treating them differently than they thought was going to happen is what also made her, like you said, I think she slept on it. And I think that him doing what he did the next morning with the breakfast and all that, and then pulling her for the conversation, he pulled her specifically for the conversation. I think that's what made her be like, okay, he's trying.
Yep.
And then he's like, well, I think we just need to have more conversations. And then he initiates. So I think it's that, but we'll get to that. Oh yes, Boss Queen had it on eggshells around them. And I think that's exactly what I think, him not doing that and be like, okay, I fucked up yesterday, but I'm gonna take it like a man, and I'm gonna still not treat you differently, but I'm also gonna not wine and dine you, but treat you like you should deserve, give you the princess treatment, right?
Yes.
And not just in an apologetic way because I already apologized to you, but in a way that you just deserve this.
Yeah.
Mary says Taylor could be a Marco. I'm not here for it. That is rude. Can't stand that man.
You know she don't like Marco. Mary, don't come up here and rile her up. Tamika, don't start on it. Don't start.
He's not a bully.
Don't start on it.
Discriminatory. What are you doing?
Mary, do not rile her up.
Marco, please. So yes, back to the next conversation. So the next conversation, so she says, I appreciate you coming up and explaining your side. There's more than one way to look at this thing. And I was like, okay, when did he explain? Oh, they must have chopped and screwed this whole conversation, but okay. So then Austin and Shelly chat, and he's like, I thought you were going to stand up. She's like, I know that. That's what you thought. And he tries to explain, and I barely write down their conversations, but she's like, I was just surprised that you got up.
Yeah.
And Shelly's like, ITM into us. Like, I understand, but I didn't end things with us. Oh wait, no, that was to him. She's like, I do understand why, but I also didn't end things with us. I didn't stand up and because I didn't want to end our connection, because if I went to Charlie, I
Thank
would be
you.
focusing on Charlie, and if and I didn't want to stop getting to know each other. She's like, because for me, it wasn't a one over the other at this point. I still have conversations I can have with both of you.
Right.
And Austin's like, I really like you. And she's like, well, I want to keep getting to know you both. I was like, yes, girl, give him barely in any energy,
The bare
because
minimum. The bare minimum. You get peanut shells from now on, like nothing.
Shelly says I would have bet money. Money that man wouldn't have stood up. And look at me trusting a man. Austin
Don't
stood his
do it.
whole ass up, and I would have lost my money. I was so confused, but I understand. And I
Mhm.
think she does understand. I think she feels like, oh, okay, so I'm not really your type. You were just,
Yeah, yeah, she gets it. Yeah, she gets it now. Mhm.
and I'm glad that Austin took that chance, because it spoke volumes to me.
Yep. Mhm.
And I said, period, Pooh, because she got it. What's understood does not need to be
You'll have to
explained.
be explained.
Yeah. So Owen explains her thoughts to the girls, like, well, I thought that it, like, he, if that 5 minute conversation you had with her meant that you were ready to divide with me, that we were done. But that's where it stops, and I think so that she doesn't give us her decision yet on what she plans to do moving forward with Taylor, because the producers love to do that bullshit. So we just see them ask if Bella had spoken to Nick, and she's like, no, I don't want to speak to him. Charlie does chat to Bella in the bedroom, but then Nick comes in and he's like, we'll talk tomorrow. She's like,
Mhm.
Austin chats to Owen, and
Yeah, because he's trying to move on because he sees Shelly not checking for him. But go ahead.
she says, are you in your head? And he says, no. I'm like, boy, you're in your head, because
Mhm.
you know that you fucked up.
Right.
And he fucked up really bad, because Ace basically was like, hey, Shelly, can I pull you for a chat? And they go to the speakeasy, and Ace asks, well, what do you think about Austin getting that? And she's like, I was shocked. She's like, were you shocked? He's like, no, I was shocked. But I also low key was like, he was happy that he almost fumbled.
Yes. He like, yeah, fumble that.
Baby says the nerve of him playing our good sis face when he clearly is punching. Broke pool man, better hold,
Hello.
scoop seaweed out of the, like, for real. But he does this little trick with her. He's like, come here, smell that, and she leans over and he kisses her on her forehead.
That was cute.
It was
He's a
cute.
charmer. He's a charmer, that Ace.
Yeah, I was like, damn you, why do you guys have to have so much chemistry? So they both go downstairs and they come to the room, but they walk in separately. And then it's nighttime, and really it's only Huda and Jeremiah making out, and I'm just like, girl, please. So yes, this was it. Owen thinks the boys will be walking on eggshells, but we see Ace is making breakfast for the girls specifically, Bella, Ola, and Shelly. And
So
Shelly
what
tells
do
me,
you think that was about? Him making breakfast for all three of them.
I'm telling you, sometimes it's that little brother
He's
energy.
such a flirt. Like, why are you making breakfast for all three of them?
He
You
is.
single man, you.
He's like, I gotta protect my girls. That's why, like, when was it? Was it later when he's like, or was it yesterday when they were like, come join us, and he was like, oh, I'm gonna come over, but then she's like, no, just pull her for a
Yeah.
chat. That's it. Yeah, I think he just generally likes the girls. So
Mm-hmm.
Shelly tells them that Ace put her for a chat and that he wanted to check in on her. And then he brings up the breakfast and they thank him. And Shelly says, oh, and that green looks nice on you. He's like, don't flirt with me right now. I don't got time.
I thought that was cute. He's like, don't do that right now. But I'm gonna tell you, Taylor, like, nah, you ain't about to take my girl no breakfast. Taylor, like, I'm adding pancakes to mine. You ain't about to take my girl no breakfast, and I don't take her none. Don't play with me.
Ace is that guy. Them boys better step up their game. That's what I'm saying. And KB says, actually, I think Ace is genuinely a nice person. He's a lovable rope, and that's what I said. I said,
yeah, a big flirt, a nice
yeah,
flirt.
I said next we see that Taylor brings breakfast, a different breakfast for Ola as well, and Ola thanks him and says, "Come give me a hug," and they hug. And she got 2 breakfasts and she has to finish them. And I said, this is why Ace and Taylor for me are the top 2 men.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they are just like, you got Nick sitting there feeding Sierra pancakes instead of pancakes for herself.
Yeah, I was like, did he make her breakfast? Because I didn't see that. And I was like, maybe they just cut that out. I'm like, maybe he made her some avocado toast because she's not a pancake. Because she said she's not a pancake person. So I was like, maybe he had just made her something simple like egg and toast. And then she was over there talking to him because, they eat later than the girls because they got to make all the food. So I was like, maybe that's what happened. Because I was wondering.
I don't
Maybe that's what happened.
He did, but maybe I missed that. KB says Taylor knows F around and Ace gonna have a hero. See, you are
we gonna have all the girls.
KB says
all of them having a dance class. He gonna be having a dance class with all of them. KB, they all gonna be back there dance.
I told you at the top of the show, KB, that is my top 3. Just Nick is 3rd. So sorry, he's not 2nd or 1st. Mary says Nick still gives me Casey, and he's waiting for his blonde blue eyes. Possibly, he's into blondes. I can see that.
Nick is into everything. I do think Nick is one of them people. He into everything.
So Huda and Jeremiah have breakfast, and you didn't let me sleep, and I barely.
What was that supposed to mean? They was making out or they was humping? Which one?
I don't know which one, but enough sexual activity that was like, I can't bother with this conversation. But they're like, oh, why do you think that we get along so well, or we're doing so good? And Huda's like, oh, because we're the most emotionally mature. It's like,
and we're the parents. We're the parents.
And then we're the parents. And then they said the kiss of death. We're the mom and dad of the villa.
Mm-hmm.
That was like, oh, y'all ain't lasting. Y'all ain't lasting. Sorry. She likes where they are at, and she's getting closer to tell Jeremiah she's a mom. She wants to do it when she's ready, because there's never going to be a perfect time.
Never.
It really isn't. And Mary's right here with it. This is reheat of Kendall and Nicole's nachos. Pretty much. Pretty much. Baby says, Mom and Dad of the Villa, waiting for that vote to humble them. Pretty much. Although I would say we need to vote, because in the app, they were number 1 couple.
I saw that.
Why?
Because people think that they're the only ones that have chemistry, aren't trying to wander, and you know how the people, they just eat that up. They just eat it up.
They do. And I had to say to myself the other day, okay, we went through this with Johnny and Sally. We went through this with a couple other couples where people insisted that they were the better couple, but the right couple ended up winning at the end. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I can help wins out here, because the red flags abound with these two.
Mm-hmm.
Abound. KB says, Mom and Dad of the Villa A wait for the vote to. Oh, I read that already. Jessica says, I despise when couples bestow mom and dad on themselves. You have to let others call you that for it to be real. Period. But that's why I'm saying when Kayla and Aaron did it, it was, oh, we're the perfect couple. We're the best couple here. And it screwed them.
Yep.
Don't do that. Hey, Dan. Dan
And
says first.
remember, Karen and Nicole. Was that Karen and Nicole?
Yes. Yep. In the UK. Dan says first day Huda calling baby. She said I love you. Second day they touching each other in bed. What next? Well, you know it.
Next comes baby. Her telling him she got a baby.
Yeah. Huda was trying to soft launch her child with mom and dad talk.
Maybe you got a point.
You have a point here. I think that was a good groundwork there. So she said, when it feels right, it feels right. And then they went to Huda, I want to bite you. And Jeremy says, you have. And I'm just like, okay. All right, we're moving on. I'm like, it's day 4. Nick shares his pancakes with Sierra and they talk about their love of Shrek and he calls her his possible Fiona. And I was just like,
I thought that was cute though.
They're cute. I don't hate this. So where are we going with it? Well, we're going to Bella in the speakeasy with Huda, and she is crying. She says she feels kind of small, and I can understand that. She doesn't feel seen. It doesn't feel like the connection she wants is seeing her. And I also don't think she understands this because she didn't open up to allow to herself to be seen.
But she says it's not just in the villa. It happens outside of the villa in her everyday life. So she has to, get herself some therapy and do some self-reflection to figure out what it is the aura that she's putting off. Like, what is she doing for herself not to be seen? Maybe she's not speaking up for herself. Maybe she's not expressing her feelings. And so they don't see you because they don't hear you. Sometimes you have to, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. Sometimes you have to be vocal for people to see you and then, understand you. So, I hope that, happens for her.
Absolutely. Nick hasn't pulled her, and so Huda comforts her and she's crying. And Huda says, you're a baddie and you have high values. And Bella says, I feel like my values get overlooked. And she does ITM. She's not crying over Nick. She's just crying over the experience, which I think is also fair. Mm-hmm. She's open to the experience, though. And Huda speaks to Nick after this on the beanbags. And he says he just wanted to focus today on Sierra since they were coupled up. They had such a good night at the Hideaway. He didn't want to go back and forth like he's been going back and forth in his mind. And you know what I said? I said, I actually think that makes sense.
I understood what he was saying. He was like, I don't want to be 1 hour is Sierra. The next hour is Bella, back and forth. Because then both girls are going to feel like they're not getting, so I understood where he was coming from too. I totally got it.
So Huda does tell him, though, you need to speak to her, which he does. Yeah. So Charlie is speaking to Bella. Nick is watching Charlie take Bella up to I forget what it's called, the sun deck. Bella says she likes Charlie. I didn't get much out of the conversation. Something about tall, dark, and handsome. I'm like, oh my God.
Did he start speaking Greek to her?
Yes, he did. And I'm just like, dude, I don't think this will work. Right. So Taylor comes and pulls Ola, and I was like marveling at her outfits, the cowboy hat, the red checker bikini. I said, girlie, is she giving cowgirl chic?
Yeah, and he liked it. And he liked it.
KB's alive. KB says Charlie is fluent in F-boys.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh my God, yes. Absolutely. Oh my God. That's actually so
I'm gonna have to give me a bell and I'm gonna have to start ringing it when y'all had them one-line zingers that hit. I'm gonna have to give you something. Absolutely.
So he asked how she's feeling from last night. And she says she's way better. She apologizes again for taking it the way she did. And he said she says the reason why she stayed seated, and it's because of him. And this has made her contemplate maybe she needs to switch things up and how she moves, and that it's not his fault he didn't move in the same manner. Can't expect him to move in the manner that she's moving, which I think is all fair as well.
I
Not
like
as
that though. And she also did it in a way to let him know. Like it was like I love the way she said it because it was also a dig. I can't
yeah,
expect you to be as considerate as I
yeah,
am.
and I think he ate that because he's like, yeah, I should have told you. Okay, I got it.
Right, right.
You know, he's going to know not to move like that again. She's just subtly telling him, right?
Right.
Um, and Taylor said it did rub me the wrong way how you reacted, but you apologized. And I also think that was him saying, "Well, my boundary was that you weren't as understanding about how I was feeling in the moment, and but you've apologized, so I've accepted." I think this is just a give and take, which is what we said yesterday that we thought was going to happen with them, that they were going to understand each other. It was going to be okay because they would truly have those conversations and really understand which way each one of them were feeling, and that is what we're seeing.
Right.
So he said, so what he caught was, he's like, so how will you be moving forward? And
Yeah,
you
he
know,
caught that because he like, wait a
yeah,
minute, you about to back up?
Rachel Marie says, hey, after Taylor sessions, I feel all his energy shift, and I don't blame her. I think her energy shifted in two manners. Um, I think she realizes she has to be more open with him as well. And I think she also realized that if she wants something, she can't hesitate. She has to go for it. Because we do see her like raise her hand to the bombshell, but put it down, raise her hand, put it down. I think she's realizing if I really want something, I need to just go get it. I can't be hesitant because he's gonna go get what he wants, which we're truly the same. So
Right.
we just gotta go after and get it. Now Mary feels like that Taylor is giving wishy washy, and I didn't see that, but maybe you tell me if you saw that he was wishy washy.
I felt like he just had a bruised ego and he really didn't want that Sierra girl. He just really did it because he is mad she kissed Ace. He really is. I think if anybody he wanted to get to know maybe a little more was Huda.
Yeah,
And then, because she was closed off, he didn't. But he did. I don't think he really wanted to get to know Sierra. He was just doing that just to be doing it because he is younger than her, and men have egos. And he just
yes,
was a little bruised by finding out that she kissed Ace because he just knew it was Jeremiah's girl. He really
yes,
thought it was Huda and Ace had convinced him it was Huda, and they both thought it was Huda. And for him to find out it was the girl he was that bruised his ego a little bit. And I think that's just really why he did it.
yeah. KB said that was a mature like drag, little collar pull, period. That sometimes that's what it takes. And yes, I feel like he was embarrassed about the ace kiss. I do think that it ultimately comes down to that. And 3M Shah says, I like both Olandria and Taylor, and I think that they like each other. I just don't see the romantic spark yet. And they've got a lot in common, but maybe it's platonic to me. I think there's no romantic spark because I think they both are holding back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they're holding back, and I think it's because they're the same person. I think they both, even in this conversation, because I saw it a little bit here, I saw the spark, but they're
Oh, me
holding.
too. Especially when they were talking about how, like, when he asked her about her love languages. I love when a man asks me about my love languages. And when he was
It was
asking
the
her,
perfect question for the
yes,
icing of what they needed to move forward. That's why I'm saying y'all can say whatever you want about my man Taylor. He is a smart man, and I do truly think he likes this girl.
he does, because he wanted to know, what do you do and how do you need it to be received? Like, because he's like checking to see like what she's gonna do to show she really likes somebody, because he gonna check to see if she's doing it for him, and then he wants to know how she receive it because he need to know how to do it for her. So if he got to get out his credit card when he started liking her to go and tell them producers, I need to buy her a gift. I need to get some gifts around here. He will do it because now he knows, like, okay, and I'll do this for her because she's gonna receive it.
Yeah. And so she does say, I still want to get to know you. And he's like, well, I think we just need more chat. So how do you give love? How do you like to receive love? And she's like, gifts. I love to
Me
give
too.
gifts.
That's
I'm a
mine.
good giver. Oh, your gift of love language?
Is receiving gifts and quality time. Yes. And so that is my thing. And I pride myself on being a good gift giver. Like, people
Mhm.
tell me that all the time. Like, I don't really have to ask people, so what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your Christmas? Because I have been listening to you all year. I have been listening. I know what you want. I already know what you want. And sometimes I know what you need. Even if you ain't said you want it, I know what you need. And so, I get it. And so people are always like, oh my gosh, this is a great gift. And I pride myself on that. I really do.
Yeah,
And
I
I be
think
checking out people Amazon wish list. They don't be knowing. I be knowing how to get in there and get like figure out and stuff like that. So I pride myself on that. Like, so.
I think for me it's probably acts of service and gifts, but I'm a homemade gift person, or even like
Oh, okay.
like I'll kind of what he said here. So let's go through the conversation. So he says,
Okay.
um, he's like, yeah, and she's like, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, he's like, I'm a 12, and she's like, you're lying.
Great.
Like, how do you give gifts? Like, how do you find out what kind of good gifts to get? Do you just like have conversations, listen to conversations? He's like, definitely listening to conversation, but like, even if we're just outside, like just shopping or whatever, and you mention like, oh, I like that, oh, I do this, she's like, so you pay attention to detail. And that's what we saw
Be
in
like,
this
yep.
whole game so far. He's paying attention to detail. He's like, yes. And she's like, damn, so you really are like me. We are literally the same person. It is scary. And Taylor says, yes, but I'm really good to give a good gift. And she's like, I'm tricky a little bit. And he's like, what? And he's, you be tricky? He's like, just a little bit. Like, I think that, like I can't be doing it with everybody though. Like, and she's like, I gotta like you. Like, that's why I can't like everybody. And, he's like, that's such a red flag. He's like, Jesus help me, Lord. Bless it. Bless my Lord. But to
I
me,
think he was like cheesing about that so much because I think that
yes,
he's tricky too. So he like,
yes.
did he
He's
say
like,
red flag? I didn't hear him. Did he say that's a red flag?
yes, but he said it in a joking manner. I
Oh,
think he was saying it in a joking manner because he knows that he would do the same thing.
okay.
Like, Lord
Okay.
protects me from it, but I think he would do the same, the same thing.
I think
I
so too.
thought
I think
I
so
thought
too.
this was all so cute, and
It was cute.
he says that very Gemini response. Yeah, Gemini's can come off and how to, yes, because my best friends and
Absolutely.
they get
Yin
it
and
this,
yang. Yin and
yeah,
yang. Hot and
but
cold.
think they tend to be more in their head trying to figure out what they truly want. Yes, which is why sometimes they are pretty slow to react to most things. Like, usually when things happen to them, they're just like, oh, okay, all right. And it's like, you good? And it's like, no, I'm pissed. But, but again, which is why I said yesterday, I know what he's going to do. I said, he's stewing on this. He stewed on it, and he stewed on it, and he was like, oh, wait, no, 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 no. Which is also what she was doing when but I
Right.
think she realized, seeing him do the things that he
Yes.
did, that she was going to do what you said, which was pull all the way back. And
Yeah.
she's like, you know what? I'm not locking in,
Right.
but I'm not going to pull back. We
I'm
still
not gonna
got
pull back. I'm not gonna pull back. I'm gonna give him another chance.
this.
I'm gonna give him another
Yes. And that's why we got the conversation that we got. And I like this because to me, these are things that build actual really solid either romantic connections or friendships. But right now I'm still seeing the flirty banter. I know it's not for everybody, but I saw it, right?
Right.
And so she does say, while I'm still processing, the big picture is I don't think it made Taylor like me less. And that's why I said she likes this guy. She wants him to like her. I think
Yeah.
she's just afraid that he's going to. I think it's kind of like Serena. She's
Because
afraid
he
that
has not said he likes her. She
yeah,
has communicated to him,
maybe yes.
I like you.
Maybe
No, I
that's
like you. It's going to take a lot for me to turn my head. No,
yeah,
I'm with you. She has said it. He
yeah,
has not. His
yeah.
actions have said it, but he has not verbally communicated it to her. And that's
Okay,
where
that might be
the
the point.
problem's going to come.
Yes, that might be the point. But also, I think him doing everything that he did that day really showed her that, okay, so he's still into this. He really likes me because
Right.
he could be ignoring me. He could not be giving me breakfast, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And KB said, oh, wait. KB says, that's why I said he had a problem from the situation from jump, but his actions were generally consistent. Same with Ola. And I think Ola also knows that it's too early and he wants to stay open enough to explore. Yeah. So, which is why I'm okay. I know people hate him. I know people have a problem with him, but I still just, I find him to be one of the better guys there.
I don't even hate Jeremiah. Why are people, only people we should be hating were Ulissa and Austin? You know,
Yeah.
we ain't got to
Yeah.
hate. They just, people so extreme.
Nick tells Ace he's going to try to Bella, and Ace points out, well, there she is. And he pulls her. And Tiara and Shelly chat because she's like, oh, should I be nervous? Oh, should I go sit close to the dock? And I was laughing. I do genuinely like Tiara, and I like her and Shelly's little friendship that they have.
Me too. She is immediately drawn. She was immediately drawn to Shelly.
She
I think
is.
all the girls are. They are all drawn to Shelly, you know.
Yeah. So Nick explains that he likes he still likes her, but he had to think about it, and he just felt like he should go with the connection that he built in the hideaway with Sierra. And Bella said, well, you blindsided me. And I wish you would have said something. You made it seem like it was a lot more closer. And he's like, no, I really didn't make my decision until the fire pit, which I still say is not necessarily true because you told the guys coming out of the hideaway that you were 4951. But I feel like throughout the day being with Bella, you're like, oh, I can't be 4951. So I'm going to say 50-50. But you were 4951.
Right.
And Bella says to him, listen, because he's like, well, is that it? And she's like, listen, I'm the cutoff queen, so possibly done with it. And he's like, I'm really sorry. And she goes and so you left me without a word. And she just basically lays out to him like, understand this, like you left me, you cut me off, and I should at this point be cutting you off.
Right.
But I still kind of like you. But I should be cutting you off. So we will see.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, oh, okay, Bella, I like it. We got a lot of personality from her, but we also got her, like, my whole thing is you can have values, but stand in your values. And I think she was fighting for values that had, like, I don't know why you left me. I'm not understanding it, but understand, like Huda said, I'm a bad bitch.
Hello.
At this point, it's not on you on whether you want me still. It's on me whether I still want you.
Hello.
And while I do like my Nick, he deserved that.
Yeah.
He deserved it. And so he says, well, I'm still attracted to you. And she said, well, I hope everything goes well for you guys. And I was like, period. Obviously, me says, Bella is stood on business and let Nick have it, which I didn't expect. And I love that from Bella. And honestly, Nick trying to look good and die on the hill being 50-50 was embarrassing because he wasn't 50-50.
Right.
He wasn't 50-50. I'm sorry.
And he told the guys he was not 50-50.
I don't understand what that was about.
But he forgot he had told Bella he was 50-50.
No, not too much. I'm not wrong, Nika. No, but absolutely. Bella, he left you because he's tired of the Blackson and your Delulu babes. I think he left her because I think he wants more physical action. And I think he's stringing along because, like, he's like, if things, work out, maybe I'll come back to you. Maybe.
Maybe.
So we see Shelly and Ace chat, and that's when they have the conversation about extrovert and introvert. And they talk about the sneak kiss, and she said, well, she does think she needs someone goofy. And then she ITMs to us that Austin she's not been sure if he feels romantic or platonic. It's starting to feel more platonic. I said, girl, it's been platonic.
Right.
I need us, Shelly, I need you to be honest. The ball is in your court right now. You have all the power. That man and you are platonic.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to say this. I'm not mad with how Shelly is moving. Shelly is moving absolutely correctly because she should not be putting her eggs all in Ace's basket at all. All. Jaquan says Ace and Shelly seem like they can work, but you think he wants Huda. I said I think the thing
he wants everybody. Like Tamika said, he wants
harem. He wants everybody. That's the problem. So who is it? Somebody I know was like, oh, Ace is wandering. They're like his lips are also. Right.
Absolutely. He doesn't. That's why he never cheated, because he don't commit to nobody. You can't cheat if you don't commit. That's that. I mean, he flirt with everybody. He want to be with everybody. Girl, that's what he
wants. So Ace, he says it makes him. ITM said it makes him feel comfortable. The flirty banter that it's familiar. Or he says this to Shelly, and Shelly says, "I'm attracted to you. You look good and stuff." And he's like, his damn Leoness. And he's like, talk dirty to me. She's like, oh, you want more? And so she does go into more. They just have such a good vibe. They do.
But have y'all noticed that the women keep telling the men how they feel about them and how they're attracted to them, how they like them? And the men are not telling the women. They're not putting pressure. They're not telling the women that. They're not really courting the women. They talk to men more than they talk. I
think if there was an actual man that she was attracted to that pursued her, Shelly would go more in. The problem with Ace is she's attracted to him. He's not pursuing her. The problem I feel with Austin is she's not attracted to him. He's also not pursuing her. And then with Charlie was pursuing her, but I don't think she's attracted to him.
Right.
That's what it is. Right. Mary says Ace is that thought. Absolutely. And Kid Cooper says Shelly has seen Ace in his natural environment outside of the persona. He might be putting on for people in the villa. That's also a good, fair point. That's also possible. KB says, I think he wants Huda more so to get under Jeremiah's skin. It's a chase, the challenge. I think this actually might be a good point. Because especially, remember, she kissed him second. And it offended him.
Right.
And this is a fair point. That's actually
and I don't know why he says that, because Shelly kissed him second too. I don't know why he harped on that.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's because it gets under his skin.
Because it doesn't get under his skin that Shelly kissed him second?
No, because she chose him.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, me says what I've been saying for a while now. Are we sure Shelly even likes white men? I don't think she does. I think she
discriminates. Actually, men, women, white, black. I don't know.
I think she likes black men and she likes women. Oh my God, so far from her.
Okay.
I don't know what type of woman she's into. She hasn't seemed to say, but I think she likes black men and she likes women. That's all I've gotten. That's her
Okay.
spectrum for me. Yeah. Um, and KB says, yeah, that's what I've been saying for years. This generation of men, these last few years is a massive shift in how men show up for dating. They don't show
Yep.
up.
Absolutely.
KB
Absolutely.
says exactly. He's a Leo. He likes to be a winner. Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's the you're right. It's the chase. He wants to see if he can lock her down because she is just after this Jeremiah thing. Liam Shaw said, yeah, he may pursue Huda for his ego because he's salty. She didn't kiss him first, but Shelly's the goal. I don't know if Shelly would wait around until he's done. That's the issue because I also agree with that. Shelly chose him. I don't think AC's audacity is a real competition. He does see Pretty Boy Jeremy as one, though. That's true. That's true. I can see that off. I can see that off. King Cooper says, I'm still new, but would production let Sherry pair up with a woman if they're both open? Absolutely would.
Mm-hmm.
It's happened before. A few times.
Yeah.
They would at least let her explore. And somebody said to me today that they might send a woman in for her. They would like she would couple up with Ace, and then they might send a woman in that is open to Shelly and one of the guys, and they could couple up together. And I also say fair. I also wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. KB says yes, they would, and obviously me says yes. Happened on Love Island Games. Kara paired up with Megan, and we also see that Cassie season 5 was able to explore things with Johnny, and then she made a choice and she chose Leo. I personally think she chose Mara. And there have been a few connections also in the UK. A few times that people had connections, but yeah, they would, especially if that's why they brought her onto the show. I think they would. It doesn't ever stick, unfortunately, Mary. Yeah, I agree. But I think that's the possibility that we have to think about. So he does say to her, I'm attracted to you. No, sorry. He says, I love that I can have a conversation with Shelly and it's not so damn serious. That's what I'm looking for in a partner. And Shelly, she's something special.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that he says she's something special because I'm glad that he recognized this. And there's nothing wrong with not wanting your relationship to be serious, but I also think it is a slightly immature take.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we do have to have serious moments. And this is where I feel like people keep comparing him to Cordell Beckham. And I keep
comparing him to Cordell.
Many people. And I keep saying he is not Cordell. I said the thing with Cordell is where they diverge is Cordell can be goofy and Cordell can be very serious.
Absolutely.
Like we saw the other day when somebody broke into Serena's house and he hopped his ass from where he was filming to her back to LA and he was pissed.
Yeah.
Because he don't care about her. And so that's what I'm trying to say to people. I haven't seen Ace's serious side yet. And I don't know if we ever will. Because he like sometimes Cordell uses it as a facade, I've said to people, but the serious side is which is the side that Serena loves, gets shown. I've not seen his serious side. I don't know if he would ever show us that.
I don't know if he has it.
I don't know if he has it either. 3M Shaw says Ace gave more Cordell in the fun dancer vibe, but he's much more Miguel once I get to know his personality, and I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
So we do see he says he challenges her to ping pong, and then we do see Ala and Bella chat, and Sierra walks up. And basically, I didn't take much notes on this conversation because they both were just like they want Nick. They what's his name? Bella does not want Charlie. She wants Nick. Sierra doesn't want anybody else in the villa. She wants Nick.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's nighttime. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're getting it ready, and Olan says, "I've learned a lot about myself. I've talked to Taylor And I did not lash out. I am so proud of myself. And that's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I think what we were saying is she's evolved. She's evolved.
Yes.
Taylor to Ace. How are your chats with Shelly? And Austin's right in the room. And I was just laughing. It's like,
I know. He was over there ironing, right? Ironing?
Yeah. Do we not care?
Mm-hmm.
But Ace says it's no pressure talking to Shelly. It's super easy. The type of conversation I'm looking for the entire time with someone. And I'm like, okay, so maybe lock in with her? Maybe?
No, we're not gonna do that.
We're not gonna do. So they do. Ace then does talk to Jeremiah, and we find out Jeremiah's type is foreign Latina.
Well, we knew that. We knew it,
and we knew this. And if you've ever seen, there's a video walking around of when like Sierra comes in and he's like watching her, and then Huda comes by and he has to lock back in because he realizes he's staring too long at Sierra.
Yeah,
he has a type. He has a type.
So did somebody else, when he said that, what did Ace say? Because I didn't rewind. I should have rewound it.
Ace says. So Ace says, so if someone like that walked through the door, what would you do? And Jeremiah says that would be the something that it would take for me to switch up right now.
Mm-hmm.
So if his type walks through the door, he would switch up.
Yeah. He hasn't really been tested.
Yeah. So Ace, Huda and Shelly talk, and this is the conversation where Huda says to her, so Bella, you and Olandria are the only ones that know I have a daughter. And I was like, oh, so Bella does know.
Yeah, that was my first time discovering Bella knew as well. I did not know Bella knew.
So apparently she saw her daughter's bracelet, I guess, in the dressing room, and she almost mentioned it to Sierra. And Shelly said, well, what's the issue with not telling people about your daughter? And Huda says, I don't want someone to use it against me. It has happened to me in the real world. And Shelly's, and I'm trying to understand how they used it against you, because I have said I have never experienced an issue dating as a single mother. I've experienced other issues being a mom and a single mom, but never an issue dating. Men don't care.
No, they don't.
Some men prefer. So I do wonder what she means by they use it against her.
That's why I didn't get that either. I didn't know.
Because
I think she probably using wrong terminology. Maybe they didn't want to continue to date her because they found out she had a child. Mm-hmm. That's different than using it against you. That's just saying it's a reason why. I don't want to
then break up with her. But my whole thing is, it doesn't matter if they break up with you if you're taking the time to get to know them at dating stage and then you tell them and then they break up with you. No, because there shouldn't be feelings invested there. But if you're moving too fast with each and every person, that's where you're getting your issues, right? That's why you're having problems, because you're moving too fast. While also withholding the information until you can find the right time. So Shelly says, well, if someone doesn't fuck with you with the fact that you're a mother, fuck them. Period.
Right.
And Huda said, yesterday I almost told him. And Shelly says, you haven't told him yet? And I was like, no, that's the point that she's trying to get to. She hasn't told him yet.
It's like, when Shelly said it like that, I'm like, so you thought she had told him? I was confused. I'm like, you didn't know she hadn't. That's why she having a whole conversation with you. I was like, were you not paying attention? I'm like, was she watching somebody do something in the villa when she's supposed to be paying attention to her? Because it was like just then she discovered, wait a minute, you haven't told him? Like, that's what the whole conversation been about. She started off by saying, you, Olandria, and Bella are the only people who know about my daughter.
So funny. So Huda said, no, I want to be 100% ready. That could trust him that he's mature enough to handle it. Shelly says, "Well, that is a big part of you, and if he's really the one, you could say anything now or later because his response should be the same." And then Huda
Right.
IT loves that it's about time to bring it up. Her biggest worry is he's upset with her that he didn't get told sooner, and he rejects her. And Huda tells Shelly she wants to say it because I'm just so proud of it. And that's the thing. That's why I said, like, I always tell people I'm a mom because it is something that I am so proud of.
Right.
It is the title. I've had to make sure that I don't just be like, oh, I'm a mom, right? That's not my whole being, but it is something I'm proud of, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being a good mother. And my children, I'm proud of my children. I love them. So I get it because you should be proud, like doing it on your own, making you have your own business, you're taking care of your child, probably when a lot of people thought that she wouldn't be able to do it. Kudos to her, she should be proud
Absolutely.
of it, which is why
Yeah.
she should never withhold the information. While I do understand withholding it, I also don't understand withholding it for so long. And as I said, if you're not going to be able to hold water and not talk about it, which I don't know how you don't do, talk, because I talk about my child all the time. I talk about them here. There's sometimes they don't want me to talk about them, and I still talk about them because they were my world. I
Right.
don't know how you keep going like this.
Mm-hmm.
And Jennifer Ruby says maturity can be knowing you don't want to take on a role as stepdad anytime or prepared to take care of a child. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why I was saying words matter. I don't know how they're using it against her. And I just think that she used the wrong terminology. And I think that she takes it as a form of rejection. But that just means that they're choosing themselves. Like they're not ready for that. If they are with you, they also have to consider not only you, but another child. And they're
Mhm.
shaping a small human being into who they're supposed to be. And they don't want that responsibility. They're choosing themselves. And that's
Mhm.
really not a rejection to you. That's just them choosing themselves. And so we have to be mature enough to know that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just
Like
the way
for
that
me,
it's from you.
even in dating, I wouldn't date a person with young children because I want to travel.
Right. And
So
you're over that stage in your life. Absolutely. And there's
yeah,
nothing wrong with that because
no,
your children are not so young anymore.
yeah.
You know what
So
I'm saying? So
I don't have a problem being a stepmom. I would love it. I'd love to be a bonus mom. I always wanted more kids, but I also know that I'm not into having young kids. So
mhm.
I just I'm not available right now at this point in my life to be a mom to a because I know how I mother, right? Like
Mhm.
my kids, they while they don't cook for themselves, they're kind of standalone. I could go on vacation and I don't have to worry about them. If I have to take care of your child in any sort of manner where I have to be locked in, I'm locked in, meaning I'm not
Right.
going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Even when I have my kids every other week, when my ex sends them back to me and I'm basically locked here. Like I don't date. I I don't go do other things. Could I? Yes. Could I leave them here and they're old enough? Can I go do other things?
Yeah,
No,
but
because
you're focused on them. Yeah.
but to focus on them. And so yeah, like I get not wanting to have to do that at a certain age. And I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum, but I in my head, like my kids are grown. Like, and so when I'm ready to like go to Mexico, go to Cancun, go to Costa Rica, go to Japan, go wherever I want to go, I want to go.
Yeah, everybody just doesn't mother the same way, and and that's also a thing that I understand. Because if I was a mother, I wouldn't even be on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I would be like, oh, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, especially if school hadn't ended and all of this stuff. And I just would be, I just know how I am. I'm like you locked in, like, when I care, like I gotta be there all the steps, all the steps. I gotta see all the things. I gotta know all the things. You know what I mean?
To be fair,
I'm not able to have my phone, and
uh-huh,
it really has to be an emergency for the producer to let me. You know what I mean? Nah, I gotta talk to my baby. Like,
that's true. I will say this: her daughter's probably 4, which means she's
yeah,
not in school yet. But also, North Carolina,
preschool. She's not in preschool.
she would be in preschool, but she
Yeah.
wouldn't be in school. But even if she was in school for them probably ended already.
Ours ended on Friday, last Friday, but I'm just saying she already was in. I just would not have just the not being able to talk to them. Like,
Yeah. No, that would be the hardest part. You're away for 6 weeks and you're not able to talk to them. And maybe this is normally the time she like goes to see her dad or visits her dad family, and maybe it just lined
now
up.
maybe that's the thing. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Maybe she does.
I don't know. KB says, I said it yesterday. I felt like her withholding was more centered around her own feelings of being a mom so young. It feels like that because I still don't understand what they could possibly be using it against her, other than what we're saying here, which is saying I'm not prepared and ready to be a step parent at my age, because unless you're dating, unless you, a 24-year-old, is dating someone in their probably 30s, they don't have kids
Right.
at this age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so basically she's like, then be proud of it. And she's like, I'm just scared of rejection. And Shelly says rejection is okay. And Huda says, I guess because I like him. And Shelly said, instead of what it is what it is, just tell him. So you can get your answer, because I think it will be a great answer. So, or either way, you're setting yourself free.
Yeah.
And then we see they walk back to the group, and there's a text, and it's a game. State your case, and they basically have to put a bunch of cases in order of how much they think a certain number of each person in the villa has done something. And so first one was cheating. So we did see the Ace Charlie Taylor cheated 0. And somebody was like, "Oh,
what Charlie's saying. I don't believe what he's saying.
yeah, I don't believe Charlie, but I believe Ace and Taylor, because Ace has never been in a committed relationship, so how can he cheat?"
Right.
And Taylor, I feel like what he doesn't give
as a cheater.
yeah, he doesn't give a cheating guy. Austin 6 times.
Nick said 0 too, but then he said that was a lie because he did cheat.
No, he said the case said 0, but he said 1.
That's what I'm saying. He said that the case was a lie, right, because he had cheated 1.
But the thing is, if he was gonna lie, he could have lied and said, "Oh yeah, 0," but it was 1.
No, I said the case was a lie. No.
Yeah. So I think the producers just got that one wrong. He did lie though. There's some stuff he lied about. They all will lie. I'm like, they won this game by lying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's why the girls were sitting there. And Taylor said, we might have won the game, but we did not win the war.
They were lying. Yeah, like they were lying. King Cooper. Right. We all agree the men were lying. Like
they were lying.
Lied like the entire time. I was like,
well, who are these thousands of people who want to see nude pictures of Austin? Shelly, or if you're sending 500 to one person and 500 to that. I mean, who are these people who want to see? But go ahead in your order. Go ahead in your order.
So the girls, Huda, Bella, Sierra, and Ola, none of them cheated. There's only one cheater on the girls' side, and it was Shelly, and she kissed her homegirl. Which I'm glad she realizes is still cheating, though. So. Right. And obviously, it probably was a problem for her partner, which is also a thing. Body count in one day, which I thought was wild. So Charlie was
what
1.
Even makes them ask that question? That was
like crazy. 1 day. Hi, Starlit Bloom. You always like show up when we're like towards the end, but maybe
Oh
it's
yeah,
because
it's
we're
like 5 o'clock there or something.
yeah. And Mary says we are here for Shelly's wrongs. Period. Period. Um, uh, obviously, me says girls. Austin's probably sending news to bots. So body count in one day: Charlie 1, Austin 4, Nick and Jeremiah 2. I kind of don't.
Who are these people sleeping with Austin? Are they sleeping with him in the pool? Are these the 4 people he sent the news to, divided up 250 apiece?
He's a
Who are the
guy.
4? And what did he have? Are these people having a menage a trois, menage a quad?
No,
What
but
is
he's a pool guy. They proposition pool guys, and they don't care how they look. To be honest, um, Bella 1, Shelly 2, Huda 2, and they're like, "What happened?" She's like, "Well, one didn't do it for me, so I had to go find somebody else." Um, and then Ace. So the next question was saying "I love you" to someone. Ace said 0, never been in love. Jeremiah 10.
But they were, again, you're lying. They said I love you to someone, not being in love. You see how they just be lying?
Yeah, and so Shelly's like, "Wait a minute, guys. Have you never told a girl that you were in love with them, even though y'all ain't in a
Love them.
relationship?" And he was like, "Oh,
Right. Right.
yes,
Right.
lying."
Right.
Yes, I know it's a lie. Like, let's be for real. They were just lying,
Right.
omitting, and then we're supposed to be not understand why they make mistakes in games. Otherwise, like
They're
they
lying.
don't understand how the games work because they also are. This is them. To them, context doesn't mean anything.
Nothing. And I think some of them lied and boosted their numbers up, and some of them lied and boosted their numbers down. But they all lied. It's
Mm-hmm.
lied.
So yeah, Nick 50. And he said, like, with no shame, I'm trying to make it 51.
And Sierra was like,
And Huda also pissed me off here because she's like, no, it's okay. I like that. I like it. I was like,
oh, that Jeremiah had said it 12 times. She said she liked
yeah,
it.
he's a
But then
lovable.
later on, she didn't like it because later on she said something about it.
Yeah. Bella 1, Shelly and Huda 2. We didn't get the rest of them. Nudes. Ace sent 3. Taylor sent 5. Charlie sent 0. I was like, 0?
Lies.
This is where I
Lies.
mean, the men are lying.
Right.
And then we got to body count. Oh wait, no, didn't miss some. Sorry, Nick 800, Jeremiah 50, Austin 1,000 nudes. 1,000 nudes. 1,000 nudes.
He talking about if I wake up and it's looking right, I take a bit. Sir, sit down. Because it's
Bella
never looking right. I can already. I was like, oh my God.
Get him out. Bella has sent 0 nudes. Huda 20. Shelly 5. Ola 15. Sierra 5. And then it was who had the highest body count. And I knew it was going to be the British boy. It's always the British boy. It's always the British boy. They should know this.
What are they doing over there?
I think it was because he said he hadn't sent nudes and there was something else he said and they were like, oh, it's not Charlie, he's approved. It's Charlie. It's going to always be Charlie every day, all day, because the British boys don't care. They sleep with any and everything. So Charlie was 108. He said, well, I'm 27. I've been a busy boy. I was like, Taylor was 21. Nick was 22. Jeremiah is 32. And still, for me, like some of these numbers, and I'm just like, how does this
People
happen?
just be humping, and I'm like, I am must be approved. People just be humping.
Literally can count on my hand. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Ace was 25, which actually is shocked because I thought Ace might be higher. Austin was 104. Does Austin
I mean,
do
he's
cleanup
sending
girls?
thousands of nudes, so he's trying to get people interested, so he can get the 104. He's sending all these nudes, so
That's
people
about
become.
that's about 10%. Yeah, they're fair. Bella was 1. Ola was 8. Huda was 13. Sierra was 18. Shelly was 12. And they swore Shelly was going to be,
Yeah,
and she's like, I'm offended. And it's like, see, this is what happened when they find out you did stuff like cheating. And then and meanwhile, she cheated
right,
with a girl.
right.
Please. So the boys win, which we knew. So the girls are shocked by Charlie, and Shelly's like, the men I'm in this thing with are a wild bunch. Austin looks innocent, ain't innocent. Charlie, the math ain't mathin'.
Right.
Charlie's like, yeah, I think they got the ick. And I was like, you
Yeah,
think?
I don't think they see me in a good light. You think?
You think? Huda felt Jeremy was love bombing her. And that the 10 people he told I love you to was like not shocking for her because he's been love bombing her. And it is
Now
a
she sees
red flag. And I was like, she sees the light.
she sees the light.
She sees the light. She's not as I was like, oh, okay. I was still worried about you, but you see something.
Right.
You see something. Her, so Ace now questions Jeremiah about how he felt about Huda with the 2 people on a date. Jeremiah's just like, what is I supposed to feel? And he's like, well, don't you think, like, what if you can't please her? He's like, that's not gonna happen. And he's like, that's a silly question. And then Huda questions, Huda eventually sits with Jeremy on the dock and questions about the love bombing. And he's like, well, I don't throw that word around. And we see Ace is talking to Taylor, and he thinks that Jeremiah is a love bomber. I'm like, everybody's seeing it.
Meanwhile, Taylor is tearing that pasta up. He like,
And so Huda is like, what are your non-negotiables? And Jeremiah's like, long-term friendships. You have to have long-term friendships because then I don't feel like you're, really a kind person. And then you have to be close to your family. And Ace is like, it's just crazy that he's acting so closed off. He doesn't believe that they are real. And I was like, damn, not Ace clocking it. Not everybody clocking it.
Yes.
King Cooper is like, my tinfoil hat theory is the reason why all the girls thought Austin was just his shy good boy because he knows if he opens up his mouth, something horrific will come out. And exactly. Which is also why I wanted to send that girl home yesterday because I was like, I know that eventually she would say that. And the women should have to deal with that. DM showed that was the only moment that annoyed me a bit. He answered the question, what do you want Jeremiah to say? And Ace was on it for the love bombing, though, and the rest of it. He caught him. He caught him. He caught him. And it's not and yes, I get
he's
like
always asking those provocative questions. Ace is. He just likes to get under people's skin, period.
Yeah.
Because why you gotta focus on the woman? Because she had 2 people. So y'all have done a whole lot and he has done a whole lot. So you just focus on the one thing that she did, like 2 people, And he like, well, what if you can't satisfy her? I mean, because she could lie to you. I mean, you don't know because she probably told that guy that he satisfied her and he left and then she had to call somebody else and he like, well, that won't happen. Like he just kept poking at him. At that point, I was like, leave him alone.
So KB says that he sees Jeremy and he's annoyed by him. I think Ace doesn't like the phoniness. I think this is part of it too. And so I think he's finding ways to call him out because he doesn't believe him. And
Right.
I think, again, Ace is a little bit more street smart. I think he kind of reads right through him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Jessica says some people are running this theory that Ace keeps needling Jeremiah because he wants Huda. I think that may be partially it, but I also think he just thinks that Jeremiah is fake. Exactly.
Yes.
Period.
I think both can be true, actually.
Yeah. And obviously, me also pointed out that he might be trying to get Huda. I think all of that those are fair assessments. And Ace is messy, very Leo energy, throws the grain and watches everybody scramble. And he probably doesn't mean much by it. He probably doesn't.
No,
But
he
that's what
probably
he's going to do.
no,
He,
he wants to see the chaos.
yeah, that's it. Like it's not malicious. He just wants to see the chaos.
Yeah. No, it's not malicious. He just want to be messy. Every time he
Yeah,
turn around, he mumbling under his breath, "This messy or this getting messy." He just want to see the mess.
yeah. This is my theory though with Jeremiah. And Jeffrey Ruby says Ace has the best mischievous file. He does. Little Dennis the Menace. I think with Jeremiah, he came in with a game plan.
Yep.
I think he was gonna go like the Johnny route or even the Cordell Miguel route, where he comes in, he locks in with one person. We saw that with Johnny. He locked into Selly, and then he went to Casa and he messed up. But he realized in Casa that, oh, the public really like me, so I can't bring this girl back. So he doesn't bring her back, but he messed up. Then he had to come back and get back on Stelly's good graces. We saw that same thing, similar thing happening to Cordell, just better. Same thing with Miguel. I think he thought he was coming on the show to do similar things on this season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her having this baby might throw a wrench into it. Because is he going to play a woman with a baby? And
Right.
then if he plays her and it doesn't
How
end
are
up
people gonna look at him?
not,
How are people gonna look at him? How are they gonna view him? How are they gonna view him? And this is the thing you heard him say when she said it. Because she took forever to say it. Did she not take forever to say it? She was sitting there, she was drawing that thing out, and then when she said it, he was like, "How many kids do you have?" She was like, "One." He was like, "At 24, baby." He was, and she was like, "Look at me," and he was like, "I can't."
I
He was
can't.
like, she done messed up the church's money. That is what he thinking in his head. And by the church, he means him. She done messed up my money because I had this thing won. We could have won this thing. And now he thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do.
How am I going to do this? And Jeffrey Ruby points out he knows that spending 50K isn't worth this backlash. And I said this morning, he is going to use this as an excuse, her telling him about her child as an excuse in one form or fashion. And I think these people, I think all these people who are mad at her for not telling him or didn't tell him earlier are going to let him. They're going to let him. Rachel says, yes, Jeremiah was going the Johnny route, but now he's going to have to back off. Now he's going to back off and make up excuses to move on.
Yep.
KB says, did you see his face? He put in his heads in his hands. The eye twitched. I'm telling you, he got his opening. I think this is what it's going to be. And obviously, me says, I won't lie. I'm a childless single 21-year-old. That's kind of shit that we ask young parents. I mean, I had my daughter 21, so.
Oh, he's saying that's not the kind of, or he's saying that is the kind of stuff that we ask because he's 21 and childless. Is that what he's saying? Oh, Jeremiah's questions were valid. That's the kind of questions he asked.
I
Okay,
was
yeah.
like, I can't relate because I was never a childless single 21. I had my daughter. Um, but to be fair, we have. Oh, sorry, this one. To be fair, we have to let him. She should have said something earlier, and that would have been better. Yes, no, understand this. If Jeremiah takes this as an out, I will respect him. He's still
Absolutely.
playing a game. He's still playing a game.
He's still playing the game, but he's valid in not wanting to go that route. He's valid. Like everybody has free will. And he's
I
valid.
I will respect him because then he won't go as far as I thought he would go for the money. But if he continues with this girl, because I don't think that he wants a child. He came in saying he didn't know what he was looking for. He was just looking to date. I don't think he wants a child. Of all the men, I think that would be the most accepting of Huda having a child. There's only one man I can think. And which man do you think that is?
Ace. That's
It's
because
Ace.
Ace not trying to be her boyfriend anyway. He just love kids. And he gonna
Yeah.
play with the kid and buy the kids. He just gonna see her when he see her. But he not trying to be nobody boyfriend. He not trying to be no stepdad. He just gonna play with the kid when he see it and be like, how you and Bella doing? How you and Carrie, whatever the daughter name. How you and Madison doing? Y'all good? Yeah, I saw this. I wanted to get this for Madison these toys. But I got my niece and nephew one. He's just that type of lovable guy, but he's not also not gonna commit. So you don't even. It's like you don't mind him being in your child's life, but you don't even want to introduce because he ain't committing. He's not committing.
So, obviously, me thinks I think Ace would run for the hills if he knew about the child, but I don't know. Instagram theories. I don't know if he knows that. Again, I had to dig to find her daughter. Her daughter is not easy to find on her IG, and definitely not on her Instagram. And Dan says, I mean, I used to watch Ace's TikToks and would do matchmaking love and rating pounds and would get mothers on it and would not care. That's what I'm saying to you. And I actually would believe that he would have dated a single mother at some point. I think Ace would be fine with this.
Yeah, he would be fine to date them. But what I'm saying is, when you're a single mother, if you want something serious and want stability, he's not going to give it to you. He's not going to shy away from dating you. But if you want stability and you're looking to get married and have something, he ain't the one for that. That's what I'm saying.
Why is he not the one? The age or the maturity?
He doesn't want it. I
But
mean, I like Ace and all, and he up here telling people he coming up here for love and he want to be in love. I don't believe that yet. I don't believe that Ace really is trying to fall in love and he's looking for the love of his life. I really don't believe that. I feel like he's there to have a good time and he's gonna be respectful and nice, and I feel like he does think there's something special about Shelly, but not enough that he's trying to like commit to anybody. You know what I mean? I just think that he just wants to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like the fact that he's trying to make it seem like he's looking for the love of his life. I don't think that's true.
I don't know whether that's true or not, but crazier things have happened. I do think that
Absolutely.
he would be the one that would be most open to it. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
absolutely. It could turn around. I didn't think Miguel was serious, and Miguel is now
And that's
lived
kind of what I'm
has moved
alluding.
to a whole nother country. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
that's what I'm kind of alluding to. Because again, Ace is not your typical 22-year-old. He has money. He has a following. He has notoriety. It would be on him to realize if he could do that or not. KB agrees though. She says he's not ready to settle down, but I think if he chooses to, I think he's more than any of the others would be most likely to handle a single mother if he was ready to. And that's what I agree. I think we can all agree on that one. Yeah. And I think Ace believes that that's what he wants, and he's very self-aware to me. I agree. So yes, Huda says, well, what type of girl are you looking for? I have so much to tell you. I'm not sure. And she's sitting there driving him crazy. And he's like, so she finally says, I really like you, but I want to be honest. I'm a mom. And he goes like this.
Yeah.
And she's like, look at me. And he says,
I
I
can't.
can't. And that's all she wrote, guys. Like that was the end of the episode. We left on another cliffhanger, and I was like, "Whoo, that was a doozy." But it's out now. Now, another theory had a conversation today. Do we think it gets her out of the villa? Because we know that Jeremiah is going to be freaking out about this. So does he have to go to the girls to talk about this, or is he going to go to his buddy Ace and tell
His
him?
buddy, his buddy. I think he is gonna tell the guys. I think he's gonna tell the guys.
Yeah.
I think he is going to tell the guys. I don't know if he'll run and tell Ace. I don't know who does he cool with. Who does he talk to the most? Nick
He
or?
talks to Ace the most.
But it's such a contingent. Oh, does he talk to Ace the most? Okay. Well, I think he's going to tell them after he grasps the situation and talks to her. I just don't know what he's going to say to her. Mm.
Mm. I think that if he had any outs, this is the out he will use. I don't know when he's going to use it. I don't know if he's going to wait until a girl walks in. I don't know if he's going to use it Casa more. I don't know when he's going to use it, but I definitely think he will be using it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it's depending on what kind of game player he is.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I told you guys my theory. He's a game player. That's what I'm seeing. I think he developed his game watching some of last season, and
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what he came in here to do. And I think she just blew up his game.
I
And so, how
can't wait.
does he move forward?
I can't wait till tomorrow. Well, today.
And KB thinks he'll talk to Ace or a combo of Ace with Nick or Taylor. Yeah, I can see that. Um, Jeffrey Ruiz says, I saw a picture of the next three bombshell. Jeffrey Ruiz says, two men and one woman. Okay. Okay.
Okay. We got a lot of men already.
So next up, I'm waiting for the recoupling, obviously, me says the elimination and the new round of bombshells. And that is what we're at. So I do think that tomorrow night we could get a recoupling with a vote on Friday for an elimination on Sunday. And so who do we think will couple up with whom at this point?
Hold on. Let me ask Jeff or Ruby, were these bombshells bombshelling? Like you saw pictures, were they good looking? Um I think that Taylor and Olandria are gonna stay together. I think that right now Jeremiah and Huda are gonna stay together, because he doesn't have any other choices right now.
I think he
Um
moves to Sierra if Nick moves back to Bella.
oh, that's true. That would be a lot though. I don't know. She just
Yeah.
seems to be internet. I mean, I don't know. Because the women are gonna choose, right? I think the women are gonna choose,
Yes.
right?
So it's a women's choice if we do a recoupling now.
Yeah, so I think Olandria is gonna pick Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
And Huda is gonna pick Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on who can go first, Bella or Sierra, because both of them said they want Nick. So if Bella goes first, she's gonna pick Nick. If Sierra goes first, she's gonna pick Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Shelly gonna pick? That's the question. Is she gonna pick Ace?
She gonna pick Ace.
She's gonna pick Ace.
Just
Okay.
to be able to couple up with him, get into bed with him, see how that
Yeah.
is. I can see that.
See how that goes. Yeah. And okay, so if Sierra goes first, who we missing? If Sierra goes first and she picks Nick, who is Bella gonna then pick? Charlie.
Yeah, I don't know. It's be Charlie or Austin. She seems to talk to Austin. She's not interested in Charlie. I think she's closer to Austin, so she might keep Austin.
Okay. And if Bella goes first and picks Nick, who is Sierra gonna pick?
Ace? I don't know who she would be the most interested in after that. Which is kind of why I said maybe Jeremiah would kind of put his interest out there for her.
Yeah.
I don't think that recoupling would be that interesting. I think it does depend on how Jeremiah moves in this situation.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we are.
Yeah. So we think it'll either if him and Huda can stick together or whatever. We think the person that will be leaving.
This is fair. King says Charlie for bombshell loyalty. That's also fair.
That is fair. So we think that either Austin or Charlie will be the odd person out, basically.
Yeah.
One of them.
This was the person, Victor Luong, was supposed to come in instead of Charlie as the first bombshell, but it looks like they brought Charlie and Sierra in, and I think it's because they knew they were going to kick somebody out of the villa that week.
Oh, that's because you did say an Asian person. And I was like,
yeah, that was the person. I couldn't remember his name, but yeah, I think that's where we are with this recoupling potential, and then we'll vote, and then we'll see who gets into the bottom. I'm very interested to see how these couples move forward, especially once this information comes out.
Me too.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm still excited to find out. I'm still really liking this season. I like the couple dynamics. I'm excited to see how this go. I don't think the stories are the same. I think we could have some potentials in here. So
yeah.
King says if Austin and Bella are a couple, they're not surviving a vote. They are not. Mary says, wait, Victor is giving. He is. That's what I'm saying. I thought he was coming
in. Victor? Tamika, you ain't showed me nothing. You know I need you to show
me. Victor.
Oh, Dan, it's 6 a.m. Good night.
Oh, good night.
Lord have mercy. We thank y'all for staying up with us.
I don't think I spelled it right. Where is it? The order. Jeez. Oh, here we go. A lot of bombshell. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find the. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That's not him. This guy. I'll share my tweet. Oh, this is the first tab. This one. Okay, here. This is him. I think this is one of the pictures I had seen. Yeah, hold on. That one was a good one. And let me see. Is there anyone? Oh, this one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, listen. I thought he was a good first bombshell, but he didn't come in. Yeah. Yeah. So very interesting. Okay. On another note, So, as we are heading towards the end of this week, technically this begins the first week of Love Island. So, Love Island does air Thursday through Tuesdays, with no Wednesday episode, and then Saturdays there's an episode, but it's usually After Sun. I still have not gotten an official host for After Sun. I expect them to
That's
not
crazy.
tomorrow, but I keep trying to say, where is Nene? Did she go out to Fiji? Like, who will be
Right.
the host? Filming for Beyond the Villa spinoff ended today, so I do wonder if Nay is flying out to Fiji as we speak, so that she could come and do the show. So we will see. But here is my schedule for anybody who misses. I'll post on all socials. I will be live, hopefully with Miss T Joy. Hopefully Chantel will be able to come in from time to time as well.
Yeah.
These days, so basically every day but Saturday. Although I will say this, if Janae is the host of After Sun, I will cover it. But I might not cover it on YouTube. But you can find me for live tea sessions and chit chat on TikTok live Saturdays, some Sundays, and on Wednesdays. So definitely Saturday and Wednesdays, possibly on Sunday, depending on when I have time. So that will be the schedule moving forward so far. Okay. Yeah, so I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Yeah.
Listen, we could go anywhere, to be honest. Like, I don't know what Jeremiah is gonna do tomorrow. I
Me
can
neither. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. And we will be back here tomorrow night to discuss this show. I've got to try to stay up till 2 a.m. anyway. So listen, what time is it now? And it is 1:41. So this would be perfect tomorrow because I have to go pick up a child after this. KB says Jeremiah is going to be crying and crashing out tomorrow. Woo. Woo.
I hope so. Good TV. I want good TV. Yes.
This is gonna be. I'm shaking thinking about it. Ooh.
What time did the episode drop today?
I think it dropped early. I think it dropped, and of course today was the day I didn't check because I got interrupted. So I'm sitting there watching people stream it. I'm like, did it drop already? Of course, today's the one day.
Yeah, because the other last 2 days I tried, it wasn't there. And now today it dropped early. I'm like, I can't win for losing. I don't know.
So yeah. All right. So tell the people where they can find you, Miss T Joy.
At Miss T Joy on Instagram, at Miss T Joy 2 on TikTok, at Miss T Joy on YouTube, and Miss T Joy on Blue Sky and Threads. So
yes. Awesome. And you can find me everywhere at Entertainment in Color, except for Twitter, because they took my Entertainment in Color profile. But you can find me at Entertainment Co Media. And so that is where, if you want my quick thoughts, if you want to just, chit chat with me, I'm over on Entertainment in Color, pretty much everywhere. And yeah, we're in for a treat, I think, tomorrow. This is gonna be
Yes.
wild. So we will be back tomorrow night.
Yes,
And
tomorrow
as I said, please follow me on all socials. Please subscribe to this channel. I'm up to over 400 subscribers. Thank you everybody who subscribed. I'm so excited to have you here in the Entertainment in Color family. Make sure you're subscribing to me also on TikTok. So when I go to on TikTok live to talk tea and other things, you will be able to be notified to talk about it. So if an announcement comes down tomorrow from Peacock on who is hosting After Sun, I will break it to you as soon as I get it. And I also might be over on the TikToks to do all of that. So TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you subscribe here and all of those so you can get all the tea and the information. And thank you guys for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you. Good night.
I love that you guys are in here and I love your energy. And I'm sorry I can't read all your comments, but this would be a 4-hour show if I did. But glad you got to come in and chat. Love you guys. And we will see you next time. Oh, God, better not be a Marco, please.
You too, Kimmy.
Comment. Good night.
Please don't start, Mika. Don't start. Good night.
Good night.